Before we dive into today's lesson, I want to challenge you to do something. Open your mind and drop every belief you think you already know about relationships, women, and masculinity. Too many men today walk into love blind, thinking honesty means saying everything, revealing everything, and exposing their entire soul without boundaries. But here's the truth. There are certain secrets, certain parts of your inner world that must never be revealed to women if you want to be respected, desired, and truly understood as a man. This isn't about lies. It's about power. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing that not everything about you should be placed in someone else's hands, because once you do, they'll never see you the same way again. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What you share, what you give away, what you expose, those things paint how others perceive you. And sometimes, when you overshare, you give away your strength and invite people to see you as weak. That's the danger we're uncovering today. So if you're ready to build strength, discipline, and self-respect, hit that subscribe button right now. Because in this channel, we don't sugarcoat the truth. We train men to walk through life like warriors of wisdom, like stoics who faced chaos and kept their composure. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share may change the way you deal with women forever. But before we start, listen carefully. What you see here in my channel is just a preview, not the full picture. If you really want to master the dating game and learn how modern relationships actually work, don't waste time. Rush right now to stoicapproachtolife.com/join now, or go to my description and click the link below and unlock the real strategies, the real teachings, the real results. Don't just watch, level up today. So let's get started. 1. Never reveal the depth of your insecurities. The first secret you must never tell a woman is the depth of your insecurities. Listen carefully, because this is where most men fail. They believe vulnerability means confessing every fear, every doubt, every moment of weakness, thinking that this will earn them love and comfort. But here's the raw truth. When you expose your deepest insecurities, most women will not carry them with compassion. They will begin to see you as less capable, less dependable, and less attractive. It doesn't matter how much she tells you she wants you to open up. The reality of human psychology is that attraction and respect are built on strength, not fragility. Let me be clear, this is not about bottling up emotions until they destroy you. It's about having discernment, about knowing what should stay between you and your own discipline. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. Your insecurities are outside events within your mind. You can master them, you can shape them, but if you hand them over to her as if they are too heavy for you to carry, you forfeit the strength she once admired. History is filled with men who understood this. The Stoics trained themselves to endure hardship silently, not because they were cold, but because they knew that resilience inspired respect. Epictetus was once a slave, beaten and humiliated, yet he never begged for pity. Instead, he trained his mind to remain unbroken, and people followed his teachings for centuries. Now ask yourself, if you were to sit across from the woman you love and say, "I feel like I'm not good enough, I feel like a failure, I feel like a boy instead of a man," what would shift in her mind? Would she truly see you as her protector, her anchor in the storm, or would a seed of doubt start to grow? This is the question every man must wrestle with. Women admire strength not because they are cruel, but because deep down they need security. They need to know that when life falls apart, the man beside them won't collapse with it. So guard your insecurities, not by denying them, but by working on them in silence. Transform them into growth. into discipline, into wisdom, and present yourself as a man in progress, not a man in despair. When you share your insecurities too freely, you hand away the mystery that keeps her curious, the steadiness that keeps her drawn to you, and the power that makes her respect you. A woman will forgive mistakes. She will forgive failure. But the moment she feels you are unable to handle your own doubts, she will never see you the same again. 2. Money problems. One of the most dangerous mistakes a man can make is revealing the full weight of his financial struggles to a woman. Let's be honest, money is not just paper. It represents stability, security, and direction. Women are wired, whether consciously or not, to seek safety in a partner, to know that the man beside them has the ability to lead and provide in some form. When you reveal the chaos of your financial situation, when you expose every detail of your debt, your poor decisions, or your inability to manage resources, you don't just share information, you strip yourself of authority. It doesn't matter if she says she will stand by you no matter what. The human mind associates financial disorder with instability, and instability, to a woman, feels like danger. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool." What did he mean by this? That money itself is not the problem. Your relationship to it is. If you allow it to dominate you, if you confess that you are enslaved by your failures in money, you show that you are not yet a master of your own life. Now let me ask you this. If a woman sees you stressed, broken down, and completely overwhelmed by money, will she truly believe you can handle the pressures of protecting her, guiding a family, or facing the storms of life? Or will she start to doubt that you are capable of being her anchor? History gives us countless lessons here. Marcus Aurelius was one of the wealthiest and most powerful men of his time. Yet he reminded himself daily that money was nothing more than a tool. He wrote, "Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance and be ready to let it go." That mindset is what made him unshakable. He knew that financial ups and downs would come, but his character, his discipline, and his composure remained untouchable. This is what you must understand. Women are not simply drawn to the number in your bank account. They are drawn to the way you carry yourself in the face of financial storms. You don't need to expose every detail of your financial situation. Instead, show that you are a man who takes responsibility, who is disciplined enough to improve, and who never loses his composure under pressure. A man who panics about money reveals weakness. A man who plans, adapts, and keeps moving forward reveals strength. So here is the truth you must accept. Never tell a woman everything about your financial failures. Share your vision, share your discipline, share the fact that you are on a path to build and improve, but never dump the weight of your financial chaos on her shoulders. Because the moment she feels like she has to carry both her own fears and yours, she will never look at you the same again. 3. Past mistakes. Another secret you must guard is the full story of your past mistakes. Every man has a history, failures, regrets, things he wishes he could erase. But when you confess every detail of your past sins, every poor choice, every weakness that shaped you, you risk damaging the way she sees you now. Women live in the present, but they also build stories about you in their minds. If you hand them a past that makes you look reckless, irresponsible, or broken, that image will overshadow the man you are becoming. It doesn't matter if you've changed. It doesn't matter if you've grown. The mind clings to stories, and the story she tells herself about you will begin to shift from admiration to suspicion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The past and future have no power over you. Only the present, and even that can be taken from you." Think about that. The man you are today is not defined by what you did 5 years ago, yet when you speak it aloud, you breathe life into it again. Why would you give that power away? Let me ask you, If you admitted to her that you once cheated, that you once failed so badly you lost everything, or that you once lived without purpose, would she truly believe in your present strength? Or would she carry those images with her every time she looks at you? History gives us examples of men who fell but refused to be defined by their failures. Take the Roman general Julius Caesar, who was captured by pirates and mocked in his youth. Instead of living in shame, he rose to power, reshaping his destiny and rewriting how people would remember him. He didn't walk around confessing to every senator about his humiliation. He allowed his actions to speak for him. That is what men must learn. Stop reopening wounds that you have already healed. Women respect a man with scars, but they admire the one who wears them with dignity, not the one who constantly bleeds them out for sympathy. The past should be your private teacher, not her burden. Keep your lessons close. Let your growth be visible, but never unload your history of weakness as if it is her responsibility to validate it. If you carry yourself with strength in the present, she will follow. But if you place your past failures on the table, she will always question whether those failures could repeat. Here is the truth. Women are not drawn to men who live in their mistakes. They are drawn to men who rise above them. So learn to guard your past, not because you are ashamed, but because you are wise enough to know that respect is built on the man you are today, not the boy you once were. 4. Fear and doubt. If there is one thing that will silently erode a woman's respect for you, it is when you openly share every fear and doubt that clouds your mind. Fear is natural, doubt is human, but the man who constantly voices them loses his aura of leadership. A woman may tell you she wants full honesty, but what she truly desires is reassurance, not constant reminders of your uncertainty. Think about this carefully. When storms hit in life, when the world feels unstable, she wants to look to you and feel anchored. If instead she sees you shaken, trembling, and drowning in your own questions, her trust in you begins to crack. Let me ask you directly. If you told her, "I don't know if I can make it. I'm not sure I'm strong enough. I feel like giving up," do you think her admiration would grow? Or would she begin to doubt that you can carry both yourself and her through the fire? This is not about pretending to be fearless. It's about learning to master your fear before it masters you. The Stoics taught this better than anyone. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." What did he mean? That fear is not born from events themselves, but from the way we interpret them. If you tell her your fears as if they control you, you show that you are enslaved by them. But if you face your fears in silence, confront them with courage, and transform them into action, you show strength. History shows us countless men who faced fear, yet refused to make it their identity. Take Leonidas, the Spartan king who stood with only 300 men against thousands at Thermopylae. Do you think he confessed his doubts to his soldiers? Do you think he poured out his fear to his men before the battle? Of course not. He may have felt it, but he held it inside because he knew that once a leader exposes weakness, everyone who depends on him begins to collapse. Your relationship works the same way. When you let fear guide your words, you shift from being her rock to being her burden. And let's be real, no woman wants to carry both her own doubts and yours. She may say she wants honesty, but what she truly wants is strength she can lean on. Does this mean you must never admit vulnerability? Number. But there is a difference between expressing humanity and drowning someone in your uncertainty. Share small pieces if necessary, but never hand her the whole weight of your doubt. The moment she feels she must steady you, she will never see you as her protector again. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, and betrayal, yet his writings reveal a man who spoke to himself with calm discipline. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That is the secret. You have the power to reframe your fear. So instead of confessing it to a woman, as if you are lost, carry it with quiet dignity and conquer it until your actions show courage. The world respects men who fight their demons, not men who hand them away for others to solve. And once you make your fear her burden, once she sees you as a man too fragile to lead, she will never look at you the same again. 5. Desperate desires. Another secret you must never reveal to a woman is the depth of your desperate desires for her approval, love, or presence. Let me be brutally honest. When a woman feels that you need her more than she needs you, the balance of respect and attraction shifts. You stop being the man she looks up to, and you become the man who clings, who chases, who fears losing her. Women respect men who choose them, not men who worship them. The moment you confess how empty you feel without her, how much your happiness depends on her, or how you cannot function unless she is near, you hand away your power. She begins to see you not as a man in control of his own life, but as a man enslaved by emotion. Think about the wisdom of the Stoics here. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." What he meant was that freedom belongs to the man who is not controlled by his passions. If you reveal that your entire sense of worth depends on a woman, you are no longer free. You are a prisoner of her opinion. And here's the question you must ask yourself. If a woman senses that you are addicted to her validation, will she treasure you more, or will she begin to test how far she can push before you break? The answer is simple. Once she knows you cannot walk away, you lose the mystery, the strength, and the leverage that made you attractive in the first place. History has shown this truth time and time again. Consider the story of Emperor Hadrian, who fell deeply in love with a young man named Antinous. His obsession grew so powerful that when Antinous died, Hadrian was consumed by grief, building statues of him all over the empire. His greatness as a ruler was overshadowed by his desperate attachment. What lesson does this hold for modern men? That obsession destroys balance, and balance is the heart of respect. Women want to feel chosen. Yes, but they also want to know that you have control over yourself, that your life has meaning beyond her. When you reveal desperation, you shift the dynamic. Instead of her admiring you as a man who commands his own path, she begins to see you as a man who cannot breathe without her permission. Let me put it another way. When a lion walks the jungle, does he beg for the respect of other animals? Number. His presence commands it. That is how you must carry yourself in relationships. Desire her, love her, cherish her, but never let her see you as desperate. Your happiness, your purpose, your drive must remain rooted in something larger than romance. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that everything he loved was temporary, writing, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive." Notice, he didn't say, "Think of what a privilege it is that someone loves you." His focus was on life, discipline, purpose, existence itself. That's the frame you must adopt. If you reveal to a woman that without her you are nothing, she will eventually believe you are right. And once she sees you as nothing without her, she will never see you as the same man of strength she once admired. 6. Future fears. One of the greatest mistakes a man can make is confessing every fear he holds about the future to a woman. The future is uncertain. We all know this, but when you reveal every doubt about where you're headed, whether you'll succeed, whether you'll fail, you plant insecurity not only in yourself, but in her as well. A woman looks to a man not for guarantees, but for conviction. She wants to feel that even if storms come, you have the courage to navigate through them. If instead you tell her, "I don't know if I'll ever make it. I'm scared I'll fail. I'm worried about what's coming," you weaken her trust in you. She may not say it out loud, but inside, she begins to wonder if she can lean on you when life becomes uncertain. The Stoics understood that the future is something no man can fully control. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." This is wisdom every man must embrace. You don't need to tell her all your doubts. You need to strengthen yourself so that when the future arrives, you meet it with calmness and reason. Consider Alexander the Great. He conquered half the known world by the age of 30. Do you think he sat with his men confessing every fear about whether the next battle would destroy him? Number. He led with conviction. Even when death was near, even when the odds were against him, he carried himself with certainty. That certainty inspired loyalty, and loyalty built empires. In relationships, the same principle holds. A woman doesn't expect you to know the future, but she expects you to move toward it with courage. When you reveal every anxious thought about what lies ahead, you don't just expose vulnerability, you expose uncertainty about your role as a leader. Let me ask you this. If she senses that you are paralyzed by the unknown, how will she trust you to lead her through it? Women crave stability, but stability doesn't mean predicting everything. It means embodying strength in the face of unpredictability. Your role is not to hand her your fears about tomorrow, but to live today with such discipline and purpose that tomorrow respects you. Epictetus put it plainly. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your future fears are only shadows. They become real the moment you speak them as truth. Guard them. Master them. Let your actions show direction rather than your words confess confusion. The man who constantly talks about his fears of the future eventually loses respect because he becomes a prophet of doom rather than a builder of hope. A woman cannot admire a man who sees nothing but disaster ahead. She admires the man who sees the same chaos but walks into it unshaken. If you want her to follow you, don't give her your doubts. Give her your courage. Because the moment you make her carry your fear of tomorrow, she will never see you the same today. 7. Hidden weakness. The final secret you must never tell a woman is the full extent of your hidden weakness. The habits, addictions, or private struggles that reveal a lack of control over yourself. Every man has battles no one sees, and while growth is possible, confession of those weaknesses without discipline makes you look like a man who cannot command his own life. Imagine telling a woman that you can't stop drinking, that you waste hours lost in distraction, that you cannot control your temper, or that you always sabotage yourself. She may sympathize in the beginning, but slowly her respect erodes. Why? Because respect is built on control, and weakness screams lack of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. If you confess to her that you cannot control yourself, you are openly admitting that you do not live by that truth. And here is the hard reality. If you cannot rule yourself, how can you ever lead her? History gives us powerful examples. Consider the fall of the Roman Emperor Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius. Unlike his father, he indulged in weakness, surrendering to addiction, vanity, and recklessness. His reign was marked by chaos, not because he lacked opportunity, but because he lacked discipline. Rome respected his father but despised him, because a leader enslaved to weakness inspires only contempt. In relationships, this principle is the same. A woman may tolerate flaws, she may forgive mistakes, but if she sees you drowning in weakness with no will to fight, She will no longer admire you. Let me ask you this. If you told her that you are addicted to failure, that you cannot stop betraying yourself, would she still see you as her anchor? Or would she slowly begin to see you as dead weight pulling her under? Weakness does not need to be confessed. It needs to be confronted. Your silent battles should be fought in the shadows until you emerge victorious. Show her your discipline, not your destruction. Show her your growth, not your collapse. A man who trains himself daily to master his flaws earns respect without speaking a word. Seneca warned, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That is the standard you must live by. Do not hand your woman your weakness as if it is her responsibility to heal. It is your burden, your training ground, your test of manhood. The day you reveal to her that you are enslaved by your habits without the strength to fight them is the day she sees you as less than the man she thought you were. And once she sees you as less, her respect begins to fade. Guard your weaknesses, work on them relentlessly, but never hand them over as excuses. Women respect men who rise above their flaws, not men who surrender to them. If you want to be seen as strong, as steady, as worthy of following, you must master yourself first. Because the moment she sees your weakness as stronger than your will, she will never look at you the same again. We've reached the end, and if you've stayed with me until now, you understand why silence can be more powerful than speech. What you choose not to say defines you just as much as what you do say. The ancient Stoics weren't only warriors of battle, they were warriors of the mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he was in control of his thoughts, and that self-control was the highest form of strength. You must carry that same principle into your relationships. Women respect men who know when to speak, but they admire men who know when not to. The world will tell you to be open, to share everything. But here's the truth. Oversharing doesn't create intimacy. It creates doubt. The moment she knows too much about your weaknesses, her perception shifts, even if she doesn't admit it. Attraction is built on respect and mystery, not on endless confession. Protect your dignity, guard your inner world, and remember that not everyone is worthy of knowing everything about you. True strength lies in mastery. Mastery of your emotions, mastery of your words, and mastery of your silence. So I'll leave you with this final thought. A man who can control his tongue controls his destiny. Do not throw away your power with careless words. Carry yourself as a man who has nothing to prove but everything to protect. Make sure to subscribe, because every lesson here is about building your strength, your wisdom, and your place as a man. Before you go, remember, what you've just watched is only a small piece of the puzzle. If you're serious about mastering the dating game and building real confidence in modern relationships, don't wait. Visit stoicapproachtolife.com/join now right now and get access to the full teaching. That's where the real transformation